Now, so far we have discussed about XHTML and its elements. Okay, so in terms of elements, you have seen about how to design a table, how to design a form, frame. Okay, what is the purpose of this meta tag and so on. Now we are entering into another part of XHTML that is called as a CSS. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, where we are giving an additional feature for the website or the web pages for cascading the style sheets, means giving the coloring of it. If not additional features, whatever we want to give onto the web page, we are storing it in a separate file for making the work easier for the designers or the web developers. So CSS is a language where we style the HTML document. It describes how the elements of the HTML to be displayed onto the screen. Okay. If not, you're taking a printout, so it will be displayed onto the paper, other media in the form of your other devices or the gadgets. So CSS saves a lots of work. It can control the layout of the multiple web pages all at once. So layout, if you're designing it for the whole website, if you're designing a common layout, you will be saving lots of time by using the CSS. External style sheets are stored in a separate file with an extension called as .css. So why do we need to use the CSS? CSS is used to define styles for your web pages, we can say, which includes the design, layout, and variation in display for different devices and different screen sizes, we can say. For example, for body, you want to go with the background color as light blue. Okay. Not only for this single web page, but for the whole and sole website, you want to maintain this. So you will be doing this for these HTML tags. You will be designing this CSS complete different file and storing it with an extension called as .css. For the H1 tag, you want to go with the color as white and the text alignment to be centered. And for the paragraph tag, you want to set the font family as Verdana and the font size to be 20 pixels. So this styling I want to apply upon my website upon so many pages. Create this separate file with some name, with some file name and an extension of the file to be .css. This will help you to maintain a CSS file that can be applicable on the whole and sole website. Done once and reused as many times required. So that is the specialty of the CSS. So as you see here, the style definitions are normally saved in an external file with an extension .css files. So that can be included in your website in the HTML document or XHTML documents as well. So what is the syntax of this CSS? It consists of the selector and the declaration block. So what does it contain? It contains two parts. One is a selector part, the other is a declaration part. So in the selector, basically we go with the tag names here. Either you want to apply on the body tag or the H1 or the paragraph or the image, any of the things that you want to apply, you will be selecting that tag name here. Then the declaration, what all things you want to apply, either with the color or the font or the alignment, whatever you want to make, the declarations, you will be doing it in this curly braces and separated by a semicolon. As many attributes can be added there, separated by the semicolons. So whatever I have told you orally, that is given to it's given there. You can go through a reading for it. So this is an example where we want to apply the CSS for this paragraph. Okay. If we are including this in our XHTML document only, you can do so in the head section, in the style tag. Okay. If at all you're maintaining a separate file, then save it as .css file extension. Now, we are having various types of CSS. What are the various types of CSS? So, CSS basically helps the user to style the sheets and look more attractive, okay? Giving the good format of reading for the user and all. So, basically, we are having three types of CSS files. One is the external CSS, internal, and inline. What is this external CSS? when you are saving a separate CSS file outside the HTML code, then we define those CSS files as external CSS, okay, where we will be giving the link of that external file into our current HTML document, and that's how we name it as external CSS. So you will be seeing here a link element will be using in the head section for using that particular external style sheet location to link it with this HTML page. So that is called as your external CSS file. You can see the example of it. Here is a link element. This goes only in the head part, whereas the anchor tag, A tag, can be used in the body tag, whereas the link should be using purely in the head section. Okay. So what does this link do? It helps us to include the outside CSS file into our HTML document. Okay. So you can see the external.css file should not contain any of the HTML tag. It should be purely in the form of my style is a name given to it, and it will be looking like this. So this is my CSS file. It's not going to contain any of the HTML tags into it. Purely it is maintained for giving the color variation or the font and the size upon the HTML tags. Now, what is an internal CSS? When you are giving the styles inside the HTML document or the XHTML document, we term it as internal CSS. Okay. This also goes in the head section of the HTML page with a tag called as style. It will be enclosed inside the tag called as style. Whatever the other tags you want to include here, like for the paragraph section, you want to include the styling, you can go with it. I'll show an example for you here only. So in the head section, you will be using the style tag, and respective other elements of the HTML you will be using under it. Okay. So that goes with the internal, means inside the HTML page only you are including the CSS. So the name is internal CSS. Now coming to the inline CSS, it may be used to apply a unique style for a single element. If you want to apply for a single element, you can go with the inline CSS, where you will be applying the styling for it upon a single line only. So then and there only you will be applying the stylings for it. So it goes with it, where the style attribute will not be included. Now, what is cascading style sheets and what is cascading order? Now, what style will be used when there is more than one style specified for a HTML element? Suppose you are defining more than one styles for a HTML element. I'll take the element as a paragraph. For the paragraph, I am designing the background to be blue color and the font color to be red for my single paragraph. Another element paragraph again I'm using and giving some other variations for it. Okay. So at that time it will be, when it has to select from more than one, it will be having a multiple choice for it for selecting the styles. So that time we use as cascading order, which one to be picked first. So all the styles in a page will cascade into a new virtual style sheet by the following rules. So what rules you will be applying here? Where the number one has the highest priority. As I told you, for the paragraphs, you are setting different dimensions. For paragraph, you are setting blue color and the text to be in the red. For again, the next paragraph, you want to set the background to be yellow and the text to be in the green. So which one to be picked? So you see here, the first paragraph, whatever you have set, that has the highest priority. So that will be picked first. So the inline styles will be inside the HTML element, external and the internal styles will be in the head section, and the browser will be by defaulting. So browser will be using it. Fine. So the highest priority is given to the one which is selected or written for at the topmost level. Okay, and it will be overridden, and external style sheets will be considered to be the CSS. And cascading, in the sense, the first one is first served rule will be applied here, which has the highest priority. What is an embedded style sheet? Embedding inside the HTML file or XHTML file. If you are including the CSS, that means we're embedding the CSS into the HTML document. Okay, directly into the HTML document, if you are including the CSS, that's called as the embedding of the style sheets. So where we will be doing it? We will be doing it inside the head section under the style tag. Okay. Now, what is the syntax? How is it going there? So CSS syntax for the embedded style sheets are exactly same as other CSS code, apart from the fact that it will be wrapped within the style. Okay. So this is also considered there. So that style tag takes a type attribute that defines the type of the style we are going to apply here. Okay. And that's there the type we are going to include as text/CSS. Example, here you will be seeing actually the execution of it. So during the execution, you will be getting to know the difference between the external CSS, internal and embedded one. Conflicting styles. What is meant by conflicting? Conflicting in the sense, as I told you, for the cascading style sheets, when multiple styles has been maintained for a single element, okay, how to select which one to be selected for the first priority. Okay, as the cascading style sheets simply means multiple styles can be applied or multiple rules can be applied for the same element. Now these rules may lead to conflicts. Okay, so these rules may lead to conflicts. You will be seeing an example here how the conflicts can be raised while selecting the paragraph for blue and red content and so on. So the example comes here. You can see the execution of it. Now, in the above example, whatever the outcome you have seen, the second H1 will be applying upon the H1 tag because it overrides the H1 first style. I told you the background color blue, so the content color is blue and the background is red. And the second one file will be coming in the vice versa. So these are the conflicts that will be affecting our page. Okay. So that example again you will see now, execution of it. Let's have a look upon it. Now, that was about the CSS style sheets. We have gone through the types of style sheets. We have seen what is an embedded style sheet. We have seen a cascading style sheet. And we have also seen the conflicting style sheets. Now, we are moving upon the CSS layouts. How can we lay out the CSS? What are the various properties of it? How it can be positioned? So the position property helps us to define the positioning of the CSS, where it has to be located. Okay, so by the element. So this property helps us to define the position method for the element: static, relative, fixed, absolute, and sticky. So these are the elements that help us to define the position of the CSS layout. Okay, either you want to make it a static layout, relative layout, fixed, sticky, or absolute. So let us see each one of them now.